If you're one of the people who in the last number of years has decided, the city just might not be a great place for me anymore and a great place to raise my family. So I moved out of the city, and the evidence just keeps mounting of why that was a good decision. Let's take a look at this article that was posted the other day, how San Francisco has declared war on plants. Over at the San Francisco Standard, San Francisco homeless planter war reaches flashpoint in troubled alley. If you scroll down, you see these planters that have been filled with compost and some succulents and some other plants that have been thrown in there. And they're doing this as a way to prevent tent cities from building up on these sidewalks. It says San Francisco officials have determined that garden planters installed by residents, to deter homeless encampments in a troubled alleyway violate city code. The encampments, the tents, the urination, and the defecation on the sidewalks don't violate city code, but this does. After years of persistent homeless encampments along Larch Street, neighbors paid thousands of dollars in early July to install steel tanks filled with dirt and succulents, effectively forcing people who were living on the sidewalk in tents to move elsewhere. Neighbors said the planters were mostly successful in deterring homeless encampments, but newly unearthed public records revealed that the Department of Public Works officials believe the planters are illegally blocking the sidewalk.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
And it says here they don't allow a wide enough path for travel. Now, if you look at these encampments, obviously there's... is there room for travel here? Is it a better method of travel to, stroll past these tents and smell the urination, the defecation, and, whatever weed smoke is in the air from all these, the trash, the litter? No, this is a much more, we'd rather have this on our streets than we'd rather have planters. The city hadn't removed the planters from Larch Street as of Friday afternoon, according to neighbors who said the city didn't tell them the planters may be in violation of ADA or city code. And at this point, you have to ask, who cares? Who cares if if this is a violation, then something needs to change. Here you have a bunch of neighbors, a bunch of residents who got together, put in their own money because the city wouldn't do anything, and they took action for themselves to stop a problem that obviously needed addressed and the city was completely ignoring. And now the city is threatening to remove these things, and the result will be the tents come back. The tents move back in. Absolute craziness. See, there's a couple things that it's good to learn. It's important to learn here. Number one is that your city officials will fail you every single time. And when people get in places of power, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, as the old saying goes. And when that happens, it's up to the people to rise up and say, no, enough of this idiocy. Common sense once again must prevail. And if it doesn't, it's time for the stupid to start hurting. That's why I'm wearing the shirt today. We're not done. Let's go to another article that I saw just a couple days ago. You probably saw this article or heard about it. A Tennessee doctor is killed while protecting his wife and child from an alleged armed robbery during a family walk. Now, these two bright young individuals have not yet come to the conclusion that they need to be moving out of the city, and they lived in a city called Memphis. And if you know anything about Memphis, it is an absolute disaster. A Tennessee doctor died while trying to ward off a robber from his wife and toddler, according to reports, leading police to make 2 arrests in Memphis, Tennessee. So they obviously got the murderers. Alexander Bulikov, 32, was out on a walk with his wife, Anastasia Bulikov, and their 2-year-old daughter on Sunday when a man appeared in a ski mask brandishing a gun, according to an affidavit reviewed by People. The man, identified in the affidavit as Marius Ward, allegedly demanded property from the couple, and Alexander surrendered what was in his wallet, including identification and a credit card. Ward then pointed to the firearm directly at his wife and asked her to do the same, prompting Alexander to try and fight off Ward to defend her. Obviously, this man is deeply in love with his wife, and a gun pointed at his wife set him off, as it should any masculine male. And he stepped in to do what was right, and he was killed for it. The only thing he did not do right was carry his own gun, which I believe is allowed under Tennessee law. He could have then, taken measures even more aggressively to put these two people in the dirt, whereas now they'll probably spend most of their lives, rest of their lives, in a penitentiary, paid for by your tax dollars. And going along with that is this article: Memphis police chief claims crime is so bad, not even the army can stop it. And it goes on to talk about some of the examples, and this doctor being gunned down in front of his family is one of the examples, recent examples, of why the situation in Memphis has gotten so bad. But this whole idea, it says crime is so out of control in Memphis that police chief C.J. Davis doesn't think the army can save the day. I beg to differ. The army can absolutely save the day. The police force in Memphis can absolutely save the day. The reality is they're not being allowed to save the day because everyone's so worried about, we might hurt someone's feelings. We might cause a riot. If we actually kill people who are doing bad things, even worse things might happen. And so at some point you reach the point of no return where you have to step in. The people have to step in, or law enforcement and the military have to be taken off the leash. And that battalion commander of that military unit or that police chief needs to go in to the duty room and say, hey, listen, your job is to go out there today and make stupid hurt again. Okay, that's your job today. And we're going to back you up in writing that nothing will happen to you at all. No prosecutions. The leash has been let off and you are free to go out there, let loose the dogs of war. Because this is the only way some sort of sensibility, some sort of accountability, some sort of standard gets reenacted into our cities. In our cities today, there is absolutely no consequences for one's actions. And you've got to reestablish consequences. You have to make stupid hurt. I cannot believe this. I can't believe it's gotten this far. I can't believe it's gotten this far without people saying no. We absolutely must be drugged. The people have been so drugged and emasculated that good men will no longer have the ability to do anything. It's just not in their intestinal fortitude to do so. And I believe the good men and the families who are switched on, who are seeing things for what they are, have already left, knowing that their politicians aren't going to help them, their elected leaders aren't going to help them. The people who run our law enforcement, they're completely emasculated and neutered. This is why I tell people, get out of the cities. And where you move to, stay active, stay proactive. Do not let this insanity come to where you live. And if it comes to where you live, stand up, make a voice, and make these people fear you. Make them fear you. They ought to tremble. It ought to keep them up at night. The fact that you're saying, no, we will not allow this to come to where we are. There has to be a line. What do you think? Leave a comment below. Memphis is a lost cause. And it's only a lost. All of these cities are a lost cause, and it's only because there's no one left who can do anything about anything. They don't have the intestinal fortitude to stand up for what is right. Again, this could all be fixed tomorrow. All you would need to do is have that police chief, have that military commander go in and clean up the city and say, make it hurt. Make stupid hurt. When someone gets caught doing something they ought not to, make it hurt. And make it an example for everyone to see. That's how people used to do things back in the old days, and it works. But we live in softer, gentler times. What do you think? Tell me when you think our country started making this transition. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Where do you live? Do you live in a place where it's just like you don't know what to do? Do you live in a place where you're thankful that you have people of intestinal fortitude standing up and doing what is right? Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. All right, guys. Hey, speaking of Stupid to Hurt, check out our merchandise, teespring.com. This is our best-selling shirt of all time. It's why I'm wearing it today, because this is the reality, in my opinion, is we got here because stupid doesn't hurt anymore. If we had more hurt in this world, we'd have an awful lot less stupid. You can find the link for the shirt in the description below or at anamericanhomestead.com. See you next time at the Homestead. Bye! 2023 is almost over, and a recent Bloomberg article states that the central bank gold buying binge around the world is bigger than anyone previously thought. And in mid-November of 2023, the Dutch central bank admits that it is ready for a new gold standard, having equalized all of its gold reserves relative to its GDP. Like it or not, everyone in the world's banking sectors understands that the U.S. reserve currency status is going to fail. The US dollar today is not backed up by anything of value, and that now includes oil. In fact, our national debt is now larger than our entire GDP. Just the interest alone on our debt is larger than our entire military budget, and it's only getting bigger. Congress won't stop spending money, and the Fed won't stop printing money. The smart money around the world is moving to gold and silver, and you can too. AmericanGoldEscape.com can help. If you have money and cash reserves banked away, or if you have savings in a 401k or IRA, and you want to move that money to physical gold and silver, AmericanGoldEscape.com will begin that process for you. This company has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and will answer any questions you have about safeguarding your wealth. Time is running out. Do not wait any longer to visit AmericanGoldEscape.com. Link is in the description below.
Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the homestead that we make here on the homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. I'll wait.